Hello everyone, Johnny Minder here, and today we are continuing to learn Japanese with Pokémon FireRed. Last time we checked out Professor Oak's lab. After that we tried to leave Pallet Town, but Professor Oak himself blocked us. And yeah, that's what you had to do. And yeah, we heard a good part of what he had to say. But yeah, we weren't able to check it all. So yeah, today we'll first finish that. And after that we'll continue the game itself. And yeah, we have seen last time, already mentioned, yeah, we have to choose our starter and then from there. Okay, without further ado, let's start with, yeah, we had this. Yeah, I think we were here. Yeah, I mentioned, even though we hadn't translated this yet, I think that yeah, we have the 3 Pokemon. You can already see the number 3. So yeah, first and foremost, we have okay. Yeah, here Professor Oak says, Oiboreta ima wa Pokemon mo 3 匹しか残っとらんが. Yeah, there then the sentence continues, but we'll check out after. Yeah, first and foremost, we have Oiboreta. So yeah, a verb. And yeah, it's a compound verb. It comes from oiboreru. First we have oiru accented. Notice that in this case, actually, oi doesn't become a diphthong technically. So yeah, the accent stays on the e, so on the second to last mora as usual. So yeah, oi ru, low, high, low. Yeah, that's the verb that means to age, to grow old. And then we have this boreru. Well, first, of course, we have oiru, verb, it's a verb, so we can drop the ru to make the conjugative form. Here, required to attach the second verb part of the compound, which is this boreru, which I feel like most likely will be actually horeru on its own. Well, yes, and it's actually a verb that I've heard of, but in a different context. This one clearly is not the usual meaning used on its own, because yeah, horeru, this one would use a different kanji compared to the usual one. Horeru unaccented means to fall in love, to fall for, or simply then by extension to be attracted by, to be charmed by, and so on. But yeah, it seems that used as a suffix, actually after the mass stem of a verb, so the conjugative form, so as the second verb part of a compound verb, it becomes to forget oneself, to be entranced by, and you can see then why it's it gets this meaning from the original one already mentioned. But in this case, technically it's that, but with the verb oiru before it, oiboreru, luckily I also an accented like horeru. We also have the usual voicing of the consonant of the at the start of the second verb part of the compound, because it's the second verb part of a compound. Even more so, it's of strictly Japanese origin, and that's what often, more often than not, happens to those, as we have seen several times before. But an accented, like horeru on its own, it technically becomes the meaning to become decrepit. So even further, not the usual meaning, even when used as a suffix. But you can, I can see why we got that verb technically. But horeru and so also oiboreru, ru verb is a verb as well, so we can simply drop the ru to make the conjugative form, to then add ta, so make the ta form of the verb, the past form in plain speech. In this case, required because after we have actually a noun, ima. So a verb in attributive position. If it were a clause, it would be a relative clause, as usual. Quite an important structure in Japanese. And you can, we have seen it used a lot. The noun after it is ima. Technically, again, there is more than one and changes the accent depending on the meaning. This one is clearly simply ima, accented on the first mora, the first syllable, which means now, the present time, and so on. But now the fundamental meaning. And so as and then we have the topic particle wa written as ha. So as for now, the present time, in which implied I have become old. Of course, we wouldn't literally translate it as become decrepit and so on. But in general, I've become old. Then we have Pokémon, of course. Mo, also, even the inclusive particle. And then we have our numeral plus counter combination. And I'll take the physical dictionary. Already got both of them, even though the one we need in this case, of course, is the one with the numeral plus counter combinations. I think I have mentioned it, maybe it showed up before this part, because I remember I mentioned hiki, or at least I think so. Because it's the counter for small animals. So perfect for Pokemon, especially starter Pokemon. And let's find its accents. And there's also some rules to mention, even without those. also for this matter, yeah, we have the pretty sure we had seen it because unfortunately there isn't a rule applied to all of them of the combinations. There are two. With some numbers, it's the accent is on the key itself of hiki. Other times it's before hiki itself. And yes, so it goes ipiki. Notice also that from ichi, hiki is of Chinese origin, so we use Chinese numbers usually, except for the usual ones like which are 4 to avoid the pronunciation of shi, similar to, identical to the pronunciation of the kanji for death, and also for 7, which would be shi, maybe still too similar, or simply they started using nana, because it's quite used at the strictly Japanese numeral for 7. But yeah, ichi, which then the ifel, almost likely actually at the time wasn't present, according to some studies. So it was already it. And then hiki, which actually becomes piki, or better, it used to be piki originally, and only later it got changed into hiki, and so forms with a previous doubling of the consonant. In this case, again, because it piki, difficult to pronounce, so became simply doubling of the consonant. Kept it. Yeah, we have ipiki, nihiki. By the way, the p or he the E is barely heard, if at all, because it's between non-voiced consonants. So yeah, ipiki, nihiki, before hiki, sambiki, the one we have here, also before hiki, and also we have the voicing of the consonant. That's because voiced consonants were actually prenasalized in classical Japanese. So B was mbi. So yeah, actually the n of san influenced the following consonant and became voiced, but actually because it was originally prenasalized. So yeah, literally we have here a nasal, the nasal mora before hiki. So yeah, that's why. And also, by the way, before the B, like in this case, because of this change, becomes then M, just like in English. Also the bilabial nasal, same spot. Sambiki, so yeah, before it. Then we have yon hiki. As mentioned, we use yon instead, the strictly Japanese numeral. And by the way, notice that sambiki is the only with the b. They is heard, like the other ones, which are barely heard, if at all. But yeah, yon hiki, go hiki. Then we have roppiki. Same reason of here as ichi. Here most actually was roku, but then the u fell, so rockpiki, difficult to pronounce, so yeah, became simply doubling of the following consonant. Then we have nanahiki, before hiki. Yeah, we used the strictly Japanese number, as mentioned. Technically, for roku, there's also the variant with roku. But yeah, the main one, as mentioned also by the dictionary, is roppiki. Then we have hachihiki or happiki. technically the one mentioned first by the dictionary is hachi, hiki, but I wouldn't be surprised if the second one were used more nowadays. Because as we see also for other numbers, it's they tend nowadays when we have these combinations, also because it's easier to pronounce, to follow the rule for the number 1 and so on. But yeah, the accent is still on the ki regardless. Then we have Q hiki before it, the counter. And last but not least, juppiki, mostly pronounced as juppiki with the u, small u. Technically, a more formal and original form was jippiki, as it actually followed the rules of ippiki and so on, because actually the number ju, the number 10, was actually jipu originally, and yeah, so simply the pu then became the ufel, and then jippiki simply became the doubling of the following consonant. But yeah, overall the rules are so. We'll see it again, because this will definitely need more reviewing since it's not easy. The ones that are accented on the key seem to be actually only, so actually the rule, we can think the rule as like this. Those accented on the key, so on the key, are the ones with the changes. So ippiki, roppiki, happiki, or juppiki or jippiki. Those are the ones on key. All the other ones, nihiki, sambiki, yomhiki, gohiki, nanahiki, kyuhiki, all before it. So actually, it's easier. Most likely that's the reason then why. But yeah. Actually, the accent could be that moves, even though weirdly enough moves in that sense, moves because of these changes. But yeah, here we have simply 3. So yeah, 3 small animals, technically, so 3 Pokemon, small Pokemon. Then we have the particle shka. Which means, by the way, the E barely heard if at all, as usual, between unvoiced consonants. It's nothing but, and yeah, it's used with negative verbs or adjectives, yeah, with the negative. So yeah, technically the nothing is in the on the verb. Yeah, in the sense of nothing but. Yeah. After that, we have the verb nokotoranga. Yeah. First and foremost, we have nokoru. That one, I think I'm pretty sure we have seen in a previous series. Actually, I think maybe Pokémon Snap itself, because of the certain amount of photos left. But yeah, accent nokoru means to remain, to be left, the intransitive form of the verb. The transitive one is nokosu. So yeah, one in u, technically, ru. the other one in su. The su suspiciously, su technically suspiciously similar to suru, because yeah, that's the form of suru in classical Japanese. Su is the dictionary form, the terminal form. And yes, could be related to suru, and so actually technically also the causative again. But yeah, leaving that aside, we have nokoru, verb and verb. To make that te form, actually, even though here it can be seen because of contraction and further conjugation, we have to follow the rules. It's in ru, so technically it becomes a double consonant te. Again, originally, most likely, we change the u into i to make the continuity form nokori te, but then they felt nokor te, difficult to pronounce. Again, that's the reason why we have these changes, becomes double consonant te. The form required because then we had oru to be assumed to exist on its own, the humble form of iru, verb with the same meanings, both for animate objects, so people and animals, but when used as the after the form of a verb, they become auxiliary verbs with the meaning to make the continuing to mark a continuing state or action, continuing action, to be doing the action of the verb, continuing state to have add whatever the verb says. But yeah. So yeah, teoru, and then it gets contracted into toru. So yeah, we can start seeing why we get nokoto ran. And yeah, oru, verb and verb. So we can change the u into a to make the irrealis form, not yet state form of the verb, as by translating the Japanese term for it, mostly used nowadays in contemporary Japanese for the negative form of the verb, usually with nai, the adjective which means non-existent. Here we actually have this n, and yeah, when you find this n after the irrealis form of the verb, yeah, most likely then it actually is a negative, another form of the negative, despite the n technically not a contraction of nai, but of a classical form of a negative auxiliary in classical Japanese. It's complex, that one, because it has various forms depending on its conjugation, and pretty different ones. Zu is the actual one found without contractions, actually usually in contemporary Japanese in certain expressions, as we eventually see. But either way, yeah, it's simply a form of the negative. So yeah, the negative we mentioned, required by shika. Then we have ga, but, the conjunction. Yeah, in this case, let's say simply but. Well, actually, it can also be used as a but in the sense that you actually introduce, it can be translated technically in English as a and in certain cases, but even more so the usage is it's used after an introductory remark or explanation, and yeah, that could apply here. But yeah, so Professor Rock here says, as for now, that I've become older. Even of the Pokemon, even of the Pokemon technically, remain for me on I don't have left. We have better to adapt it in English because it becomes more complex than anything. I have nothing but 3 small animals because of the Pokemon left. So yeah, he has only these 3 Pokemons left. Oops. Yeah. Let's continue here. Okay, yeah, perfect. Yeah. Yeah, he said that, but actually here better as in an introductory explanation, because after that he says, Omae ni ippiki yarou. First and foremost, we have omae. A pronoun, second person singular pronoun, you. Technically, well, it's a familiar language fundamentally. Formerly was honorific, and actually you can see it because we have this o at the start, which is the honorific prefix, and then we have this mai, which is, yeah, it's simply mai. We have seen before, also with the meaning before, but also in front of, and so on. So yeah, technically the origin is you, you in front of me, or something along those lines, with the honorific prefix. So yeah, originally honorific, but now actually very informal. Yeah, familiar language. Technically, the dictionary mentions also male term or language. But yeah, so yeah. Then we have the particle ni, to, so to you. And then we have ippiki, one of the small animals. And then we have yarou, from yaru, a colloquial form of suru, to do, unaccented, but has several extended meanings. Among them is to give, so another verb of giving, colloquial, as already mentioned, for yaru in general. U verb, Godan verb, so we can change the U into O-U, so actually long O, to make the evolutional form of the verb. We have seen that the meanings of the evolutional forms are technically let's, the most common one, or, and I think in this case technically is the better one, the second one is I'm willing, so yeah, I do a certain action because I'm willing to do it, and so yeah, I'll give you one Pokemon, because we can see also with the counter, to you. Then after that, yeah, it ended there. The suspension dots, sa erabe. First and foremost, we have this sa, which is an interjection, we could say. It has technically several usages. One of the most common ones, and unsurprisingly is the first one given by the dictionary. The accent of sa is simply accented, so on the sa. The I is simply the longer vowel, so it can stay there. come on, come now, cioè used to urge or encourage others. Can also indicate resolve, uncertainty or hesitation. Other usages, but yeah, the fundamental one, I'd say, that one to urge or encourage others. Or resolve is also a pretty common one. But yeah, in our case, come now. And then we have the verb erabu. Erabu, we have seen it before, I think. It means to choose, to select, to pick out. Should be accented. And it is, perfect. U verb, Godan verb, so we can change the U into E to make the imperative form of the verb in plain speech. So yeah, come now, choose. Wanted to quickly check the accent of the imperative. I think we have seen it before. I have checked it before, but I wanted to be sure. Yeah, I remember that for unaccented verbs is on the E itself. But yeah, for accented ones, actually, the accent stays where it is, even in its terminal dictionary form. So erabu, low, high, low. Yeah, so erabe. Well, yeah, for unaccented verbs, the accent technically is present, but on the last syllable. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, we can continue. Yeah. After that, Green speaks. First and foremost, with also the small tsu. The small tsu, in this case, is more like an abrupt end. To make it even shorter, technically. Yeah, but yeah, still a variant simply of an A, like in English. After that, he says zurui, which means it's unfair. Other meanings, technically, it's a adjective. Accented, okay. Sly, cunning, sneaky, crafty. But yeah, usually better. The most common meaning is unfair, I'd say. Dishonest, technically, but yeah, unfair, better. Yeah, so it's not fair. But yeah, in Japanese, instead of technically doing the negative, we use a verb that already has a negative meaning. Yeah, it's unfair. And yeah, we are in plain speech, the adjective can stay on its own. Then he says ji-san, yeah, the usual grandpa, technically the one used when speaking for about someone else's grandfather, but also used these terms as an technically affectionate or familiar in the sense of being in the family towards, in our case, our grandpa, but we've seen Okasan, even more so without the honorific prefix. Then we can definitely, you shouldn't usually use it for someone else's grandfather. The ones for, like example, grandfather can actually also be used for a generic old man, oji-san. But yeah, simply grandpa here. Then he says, 俺にも kureyo. And yeah, first and foremost, we have ore, one of the, it's a first person singular pronoun, I, unaccented, this one. It's a male term or language, and it's also considered rough, at the very least, if not straight up arrogant. Like in our case for this character, definitely the second one. Then we have the particle ni, again to, simply in this case. Mo, also even, also to me. And then we have the verb kureyo, from kureru, another verb of giving. This one used when the receiver is the speaker, or someone else, someone close to the speaker. So yeah, technically it simply means to give, but it's someone else that gives to the speaker, or someone close to the speaker. And yeah, it's a verb, a ru verb is a verb. So yeah, in this case, we drop the ru to add yo. Technically, this one, I think it's simply yo, and then simply becomes longer. Notice that we write the additional o with o instead of u, like if it were if we had a yo u, so long yo. Let me quickly check, because it's worth mentioning that the while ru verb is an verb, it's a peculiar one technically, because it has some changes, even though in this case I think it's simply, but I'll still check just to be completely sure, it's simply we drop the ru and add yo, actually, so short yo usually, then becomes longer simply for emphasis. Short yo, and so actually the one of the ways to make the imperative form of the verb. And so yeah, simply we have seen that the accent for those is before the yo itself, before the yo. So yeah, would be kureyo. Yeah, here also with the longer vowel, but it doesn't matter. But yeah, there is no, yeah, actually, sorry. The matter is that actually it's weird because usually the I get it, but yeah, because the difference actually is that the peculiarity of kureru, and that's why it didn't also come, it sounded weirder to me, is that actually its imperative form is kure. You simply drop the ru and don't add anything else. And yeah, that's the an exception exclusive to it. So yeah, be careful. So yeah, the yaw, the long yaw, is simply a yaw, the final sentence particle, usually we have seen it with its most common usage as a kind of like, for emphasis, certainty. Here more like, hey, technically, in the sense of a request, but yeah, straight up an order, I'd say in this case. We use the imperative in plain speech. But yeah, so yeah, technically the imperative is kure. So yeah, the accent should be, by the way, I think on the re, even though I can confirm it because it's an exception here. And yeah, then we have this long yo, long for emphasis. Yeah, so simply it's give one implied also to me. Yeah, we can continue. And then okido, in Japanese orchid, first says ma, which is an exclamation. Well, in this case, it's again, actually, technically, come now. In this case, when urging, let's say. But yeah, because after that, it says awateru na, green. Yeah, first and foremost, we have awateru. Which means, well, technically, originally, the fundamental meaning would be to become confused, disconcerted, and so on, to be flustered, so to panic technically. By extension, it becomes to hurry, to rush, to hasten. But yeah. After it, we have this na. When using na after the terminal form, dictionary form of a verb, we actually make the negative imperative in plain speech. So yeah, don't don't hurry, let's say better in this case, don't or technically we could still say also don't panic, don't be flustered. But yeah, so actually we have finally seen here the negative in plain speech of the imperative. So yeah, it's this form here. Yeah, after that we simply have green. So name. We have given him. Oops. Okay, yeah. Okay, perfect. After that, Ox says, omae mo suki na mono o tore. And yeah, again, omae. Actually, have I mentioned the accent of omae? Mae on its own is accented on the ma that we've seen before. Omae is actually unaccented, so be careful. If I hadn't mentioned it, I've done so now. But yeah, then we have the inclusive particle mo, also you. Then we have ski, an adjective, as you can see also here. Technically, liking, better let's say preferred than in English, favorite. So yeah. Also you, implied your favorite. Something which is simply mono, in this case, thing as in object. Technically can be used also for person in certain contexts. We have studied both kanji, because we use one or the other depending on that case, on which case that is. But yeah, here simply as thing is in general. So yeah, preferred favorite thing, as in the Pokemon. The U barely heard if at all bit of ski, because it's between voice consonants. It's worth mentioning, even though here we simply have it before and now with the na. It's found in the structure someone wa, and so as for the someone, something ga with the subject particle, skides, or ski simply, skida in plain speech. So yeah, literally, as for someone, a certain something, that certain something is preferred. So it's how you say that you like something, or also someone. So it's used also for liking a certain someone, usually romantically. Funny enough, we have seen it in the Tomodachi Life Direct, for example, when Marie confessed to Carlos Sensei. But yeah, here simply preferred thing. Then we have the object particle o, written as wo, and pronounced as such in careful speech and also singing. Last but not least, we have the verb tore, from toru. Actually, should be accent on the to in this case, because toru is accented, means to take in general, several other meanings by extension. But yeah, u verb, colon verb, we can change the u into e to make again the imperative form in plain speech. So yeah, please take. Sorry. No, please, because we are in the in plain speech and it's the imperative form. Take, you also take your preferred thing. Yeah, after us. Yeah, actually that was the end of this part. So yeah, I'd say we can take quickly our break now. Around 5 minutes, most likely slightly less. And when we'll be back, we'll actually start the game itself. And so yeah, we'll continue from this part here. So see you in around 5 minutes. Again, slightly less, most likely. And we are back. Yeah, so we can actually start the game itself. And so continue from there. Yeah, here we have our usual summary. The usual part we have seen. We have 3 of those this time. Yeah, we got the potion from the PC as usual. that I clicked twice. Then we went out of. We rested technically. It says at our house, but we simply actually left it. After that, we have exited from Professor Oak's lab. But yeah, funny enough, we actually we saved inside there because Professor Oak brought us in. We'll check out what they have to say first and foremost. Professor Oak says, Sareddo. So again, come on. Red. Soko no Mitsu no Monster Boru no Naka ni. Then it continues. First and foremost, we have Soko, part of the Kosodo series, close to both the speaker and the listener. So far from the speaker, close to the listener. Far from both. Do the interrogative. Koso are usually an accented to accent on do itself. With the ko, we have place. So yeah, that place. Or there, then. Then we have the possessive particle no. So technically, of the place of there. Actually, simply to connect it to the following part. First, we have Mitsu 3, and then the numeral plus counter. So yeah, the counter is the Tsu, general purpose counter of strictly Japanese origin. So we use strictly Japanese numerals. In our case, Mi with also a small Tsu, so the doubling of the following consonants. Mitsu should be accented on the Tsu itself. I think we have seen it. I quickly check. Not even by taking out the dictionary, but I have it on my side, but Mitsu on the Tsu. So technically, actually, an accented here should be because of the following no. That's the rule with the possessive particle. It makes words accented on the last syllable unaccented. Other particles don't do so. We have then Monster Boru, Monster Ball. The Japanese names for Pokeball in general. Then we have the possessive particle no again. Naka inside. We have even studied this kanji. Ni in the inside technically. Cioè simply inside. Inside of the 3 monster balls, Pokeballs of there. Can continue. And then it says Pokemon ga haiteiru zo. Simply we have seen this part practically almost identical, I think, before. We have simply Pokemon. The subject particle ga, and then the verb hairu, to go, come, get, in, to enter. Everyone studies kanji. The form, because it's in, despite looking like a verb, it's a verb because it's in iru. It's actually one of those verbs in iru and eru, which are actually verb, Kodan verbs. So be careful, you have to remember them. It's in Ru, we have to follow the rules, becomes double consonant as already mentioned, and then we have Iru, are inside, put in, we could say in this case. So yeah. And then so the final sentence particle, melt or more language, force technically, say in this case simply general emphasis. So yeah. Inside those the three monster balls there, Pokemon are put inside, have been put inside, we could say. They've entered them. And yeah, then it says, Dono Pokemon ni suru. Dono, the interrogative, so which of three or more, to say which of two options we use, on the other hand, dochira. We have seen that the words in Chira of the Kosodo series mean this way, this direction, this, that over there, direction. Yeah, technically which way / direction, so yeah, usually used for two options, dono for three or more. And yeah, then we have Pokemon. And then we have ni suru. Yeah, technically we have ni, the particle, but it's required by suru. And when we use the verb suru to do its fundamental meaning to do, as already mentioned. Yeah, when we add the particle ni, it's used for choose. Which Pokemon will you choose? Suru is the terminal form of the present form of the verb. And so yeah, the present can also be used for a simple future in Japanese. So yeah, will better in this case. Okay, let's hear what... yeah, see. I remember this now, it came to mind. First and foremost, Green says hehenda. Oh yeah, that hehe is simply a laugh. Funny enough, after that, like funny enough, like hehe technically in English. And then we have nda. So technically it's the usual structure no, the thing as in fact, also nominalized for verbs, da the copula, so yeah, it is that. Funny to see it after a laugh. Yeah, simply we could say hehe. Then he says, ore wa otona dakara katsukanai no sa. Don't remember. Okay, yeah. Continues, but simply we don't have any punctuation because of the arrow. Yeah, I felt I thought it would end there. Yeah, it does. Yeah, first and foremost, ore, again, I, topic particle wa, as for me. And then we have otona. Which means adult. The accent unaccented, okay. Then we have da, the copula again. Kara, because. And so yeah, as for me, because I'm an adult. Then he says, Gatsukanai. Yeah, we have this Gatsuku. Technically, it seems to come from an onomatopoeia. Gatsu gatsu should be accented, yes, on the first mora, as usual for those onomatopoeias. And one means hungry, voraciously, ravenously. So then by extension also greedily, and so on. Most likely then combined with tsuku. And then simply the gatsu, as we mentioned, the tsu, well, we'll see in a second, but yeah, first tsuku, the usual to be attached to stick to, and so on. Also, that would be my guess. But yeah, notice that gatsu, because then we had tsuku, the tsu of gatsu, not doubled in this case, becomes simply the doubling of the following consonant. Maybe the u fell because of this repetition of tsu tsu. But yeah, either way, it becomes like this. It's but yeah, even more so since it's actually not a verb, so we wouldn't conjugate gatsu. But yeah, gatsuku anyway means to be greedy or to devour greedily. So yeah, means of gatsu in the form of a verb. Unaccented though, so be careful, unlike tsuku on its own. So yeah, verb colon verb, we can change the u into a to make the virialis form, to then simply add nai and make the negative form in plain speech. And then we have this, well, not technically first and foremost, which is again the thing as in fact. Nominalize for verbs. And then we have this sa at the end. And yeah, in this case it's a final sentence particle technically, which indicates assertion. And yeah, it's mainly masculine, says the dictionary, yeah, in thermal language. And funny enough, also in the example shown by the online dictionary, it uses koto before the sa. So yeah, here we have no instead, but yeah, similar usage. So yeah, the fact is that technically, even though we don't have the copula. Yeah, so as for me, because I'm an adult, I'm not greedy. Yes, clearly. Yeah. Both the being an adult and not being greedy, as we have just seen with the part before it. Yeah, then he says, Reddo kara saki ni erabasete yaruse. First and foremost, we have reddo, kara, here as a particle, from. Then we have saki. As we have seen, literally, the original meaning, the more concrete meaning would be end, tip, and so on. Then by extension becomes ahead. Yeah, in this case, from red, ahead, so yeah, before me. And then we have the particle ni, simply, in this case, at a specific moment. By the way, saki, as a reminder, should be unaccented. It is, perfect. And yeah, then we have the verb erabu again, but in this case, we change the u into a. And then add se, technically also ru, but here not visible because of further conjugation, to make the causative form of the verb. To make someone choose, in our case, to let technically. Causative forms of verbs are root verbs, incident verbs. So we can simply drop the root to make the conjugative form and then attach te to make the form of the verb. Required because we have yaru, as mentioned again, a verb of giving. After the te form of a verb, the meaning is to do the favor of doing the verb in te. Last but not least, reminder that yaru is colloquial. Last but not least, we have this ze, a particle. But its meanings are technically given by the dictionary. I can tell you, or both it's a male term or language. The first one, familiar language. In that case, that's simply light force or emphasis, or can be used to make a sentence threatening or ironic. And honestly, it sounds more like the second meaning in this case. Here the meaning is simply then I'll do the favor of letting you choose, from red. So in this case, from you. Notice how also here technically we use the name of the person even though he's speaking to us. First, we could say, in this case, ahead. Okay, and now we can actually, let me quickly. I wanted to do this first. If we try to leave, Professor Ox says, Kora, doko eiku. First and foremost, we have this Kora, an exclamation used as hey, to scold or reprove. And funny enough, most likely it's related. Never mind. Used like this. Then we have doko, as mentioned. Which place? So where. The particle e written as he, towards. And then we have the verb iku, to go. So hey, where are you going? And then it says modotte con ka. In this case, first we have modoru, to come back, to return. Should be accented, we have seen it before. It's again verb colon verb. To make that a form, it becomes double consonant. Yes, it is accented, by the way. After that, we have this con ka, which I suspect comes from kuru, to come. And then here I'd say most likely it's the ko is because it's from koi. The imperative form of kuru, it's a completely irregular verb like suru. So we have to simply remember that its accent is its imperative form in plain speech is koi. Then I suspect that we have this ka technically, the interrogative particle. Here clearly not interrogative. in the sense we could say want to in a way, but yeah. And then I think that the comes up simply because of a contraction. But yeah, honestly, a scene like this, I haven't seen it, but yeah, most likely that's the origin of this. I noticed that, yeah, we use the verb iku above, and then we use the form of a verb, and then another verb of movement. And yeah, the opposite, of course. Instead of to go, iku, we use kuru, to come. Yeah, clearly here the meaning is come back. Oh yeah, okay, we can finally choose our Pokemon. We check all the balls here. And yeah, first, Ox says for this one, Soka. And yeah, so, as in this way, or better, that way, because we have the so, as in it is like that. Then we have the ka, the interrogative particle, and technically, yeah, as if it isn't like that, yeah, you might have heard it already as this soka in Japanese, or its polite form so desu ka, same, simply different register, the same. Yeah, literally, if it isn't like that, so yeah, in the sense I see. And then we have Fushigi Dane ga ii ka. First and foremost, we have Fushigi Dane. We've actually seen all the names of the starters in Pokemon Snap, but I'll quickly mention them again. First, we have Fushigi, an accent on its own, mysterious, strange. Then we have this Dane, first and foremost from Tane. Actually, check though its accent, that one I don't remember. Seed of a plant. Okay, accented on the Tane. Here with the voicing of the consonant, because it becomes a compound. The second term is of strictly Japanese origin, so yeah, even more so. So mysterious, strange, seed. Or could be Fushigi is an adjective. So yeah, we could then use da as the copula and ne as the final sentence particle. So yeah, it's strange, isn't it? Right? So yeah, all this wordplay at play in Bulbasaur's Japanese name. Then we have the subject particle ga, and then we have I, adjective which means good, several similar meanings. Another ka at the end, again, simply isn't, if it isn't, well, isn't Bulbasaur good, yeah, he is. Then it says koitsu, koitsu wa totemo sorate yasui zo. And yeah, first and foremost we have koitsu, part again of the Kosodo series. With this itsu, it becomes this fellow, this guy, this person. Familiar language can also be derogatory. Yeah, in this case, simply familiar language, let's say. Or this, as in this one, this thing by extension, then. And yeah, unaccented, like usually these are for the Koso A. topic particle wa, totemo, the usual adverb which means very, and other similar meanings, but unaccented. And then we have this sodate yasui. First we have sodateru. I don't remember if accented or not, we have seen it before. Ciao Guillaume, hello, nice to see you here. But yeah. Okay, yeah, accented. Now it comes to mind because we had seen sodatsu, the intransitive form of the verb. This one is the transitive one, so yeah. The one in u, intransitive, the one in eru, transitive. Another couple of verbs working like that. To raise, to rear, to bring up. Ru verb is an verb, so we can drop the ru to make the continuative form. In this case, to add yasui, an adjective that, when used after, it's different from the yasui used also on its own. That one means the original meaning calm, peaceful. Then by extension actually becomes also cheap, inexpensive. But yeah, no, this one is different. It means easy. And yeah, it's a special form used exclusively, usually used after the continuative form of verbs. So yeah, to say easy to the action of the verb. By extension also likely to have a tendency to, but yeah, the fundamental meaning is easy to do the action of the verb. So in our case, we have so at the end again. So yeah, as for this one, this fellow, it's very easy to raise, bring up. And yeah. Then Professor Oak says, Reddo wa Shokubutsu Pokémon Fushigirane ga Injana. First and foremost we have Reddo, protagonist, the topic particle wa. As for Red, so as for you, as we're speaking to us. Then we have Shokubutsu. A Chinese compound. Check its accent. Okay, this is one of those completely different ones, so be careful. The accent is on the ku. So yeah, usually those are either unaccented or accent on the first mora. No, this is one of the straight up exceptions, so be careful. It means plant. Technically in general, and also vegetation, but yeah, here plant, singular. Pokémon, so the plant Pokémon. Fushigedane, subject particle ga. I, again, so good. And then we have this nja, so yeah, noda, simply we have the copula as ja because it's the one used by old characters in fiction. Oak is old. Then we have this final na, which is the bane of us because it has several meanings technically. Can be used like a ne, can be used like a yo, has some specific usages of its own. So yeah, here Oak says, as for Red, is the Pokemon, the plant Pokemon Bulbasaur good, as in, of course, in the sense is good, in the sense of it's good for you, so you are choosing it implied. We can say hi, yes, yeah, no. The fundamental words for those, yeah, we'll choose no for now, because we quickly check out the other ones. Fumu Zenigame ga Ika. Apart from the Fumu at the start, which is like in English, and Zenigame. We have also seen it in Pokémon Snap. Technically, I think we can find it. It's technically a word also in Japanese, straight up. Zenigame, compound noun, from Zeni, which means is the colloquial word for round coins with a hole, a square hole in the center. Coin made of non-precious materials, so yeah. Some low value coins, the typical coins you might have seen also in anime, video games, and so on in the Japan of the past. Accented on the ze, zeni, by extension then simply money. Game, actually from kame, accented on the ka. Becomes voice because it's the second word, part of a compound, is of strictly Japanese origin. Kame means turtle or tortoise. So literally money, actually in the sense more of like those coins, turtle. And yeah, this Zenigame, unaccented, is used for is also used in Japanese straight up in the language for baby spotted turtle, miniature Japanese pond turtle, or young Japanese terrapin. So yeah, a young turtle. Be careful because it's an accented Zenigame. But yeah, same structure. So yeah, so if it Zenigame Squirtle is good. If it isn't, it isn't good. Then he says, Sodate Gai no Aru, Pokémon za. First and foremost, we have Sodate from Sodateru again. Technically, from we would drop the rules, so make the continuity form again. But then we have this guy. I think it might actually be from Kai and then with the voicing, but I want to check if I find it as is. Okay, no, yeah, I can find it as is because that's when used as a suffix. It comes from the word is on its own Kai. Actually, let me check. It's unaccented. Kai means result, implied that makes an act worthwhile. Worth in doing something. Then value, effect, use, benefit, avail, technically. The fundamental meaning is technically result slash worth. And so yeah, when used as a suffix after a noun or also the mass stem of a verb, so the continuative form, it means it has these meanings: result that makes an act worthwhile, worth doing something, cioè worth raising, bringing up. Since guy is a noun, kai, as mentioned, is a noun originally, here used as a suffix. Then to attach it, the no after it is actually the no replacement of the subject particle ga in relative clauses, like in this case, as we see soon enough. But yeah, the meaning is the same as the subject particle. Then we have aru. To be as in to exist of inanimate things, cioè in our case the worth, so makes sense. I think, by the way, yeah, there's straight up the expression kaiga aru, which has the meanings to be effective, to be fruitful, to be worthwhile, literally to have. Again, aru to be as in to exist, but yeah, with in the structure someone wa something ga aru, it becomes as for the someone, the something exists. So yeah, that someone has the something, cioè has worth. As mentioned, relative clause, because it's before Pokémon. Cioè, then last but not least, the copula già in ok is old. It's a Pokémon that is worth raising, bringing up. And yeah, after that it says simply, okay, no, there are some slight differences, so we quickly check it. Again, red the wa as for red. Then we have Mizu, water, and noun. So yeah, unsurprising, after that we have the possessive particle to attach it to Pokemon. Unaccented Mizu. So the water Pokemon, it's a Nigame. Then we have the particle Ni. And yeah, funny enough, in this case we use straight up the verb Kimeru. Actually, I think unaccented, but we'll check. To decide, to choose, to determine. And then after, simply no ja, no da. And then there is final na again. So yeah, as for you, will you choose? It is that you choose the water Pokemon Squirtle? Nope. Last but not least, we have this one. Yeah, first he says ho. So yeah, like ho. Well, more like a O in English in a way. Technically, also in English, there is a ho. But yeah. And then the usual structure. Something ga, ika. We have seen for the other ones. This one is Hitokage. Yeah, it means salamander, and it's straight up a word used in Japanese technically. It comes from compound noun from hi, accented, fire, if we then study this kanji, and then tokage, unaccented, which means lizard. So yeah, fire, lizard, a salamander. Oh, and by the way, the accent of Hitokage, I can see it there. Let me quickly see if it's present in the physical dictionary. I don't remember if I searched it last time. If it is present, of course, because, yeah. Okay. And yeah, I think we search for it, but yeah, there's only another Hitokage that's not related. Oh yeah, the usual structure. So isn't it good? Isn't it good, Charmander? And then it says Jikkuri Sodateru to Iso. First and foremost, we have Jikkuri. An adverb. Actually, an onomatopoeia. It's one of those in re. Luckily, those are always are at the very least most, but I think straight up all in this case, accented before the re itself. So yeah, Jikkuri. Jikkuri means carefully, slowly and carefully, without haste, thoroughly, deliberately, closely, meticulously. And yeah, after that we have Sodateru again. Then to, so the one of the conditional forms of the verb. If, when also in a temporal sense, just like in English. This one is the closest one to zero conditional, so if you do the action of the verb, usually then what's mentioned after inevitably happens. Here it's more simply, if you do that, it's good. So yeah, in the sense actually that you should do that. So yeah, you should, it's good if you, so as in you should, train, raise it, bring it up, carefully, without haste. And so actually here we can also see the difference between the starters, thoroughly and so on. Yeah. It's also the difference in at which levels they evolve. Yeah, after that it says Red wa Hono no Pokémon Hitokage ni surunjana. Yeah. Again, same. The only difference is Hono no Pokémon. Yeah, as we have seen before, Hono means flame. A compound. Actually, compound noun from ho, an alternative form in compounds of he, fire, not the possessive particle, and then this o, which comes from ho, then simply lost the p at the start, originally h nowadays, because it's inside the word. Ear means that ho, so fire ear, technically ear of a plant, yeah, so fire ear, and so a flame. So yeah, as for red, the flame Pokemon, will you choose, it is that you choose the fire Pokemon Charmander? Nope. Oh yeah, finally, as mentioned, we choose Bulbasaur, Fushigi-dane. Yeah, so after that it says Kono Pokemon wa honto ni genki ga ii zo. Yeah, first and foremost we have Kono, this, as in the demonstrative adjective, so yeah, this something Pokemon, in our case this Pokemon. As for this Pokemon, we have the topic particle wa. Then we have this honto ni, comes from honto, usually with the longer vowel, but can be abbreviated sometimes, like in this case. The origin is honto, a Chinese compound, and luckily unaccented like most of those. Technically, the fundamental meaning is truth, reality, actuality, fact. By extension, then becomes genuine, authentic, or proper, right? So with the ni, we make it technically it's an adjective. Can also be simply a noun to which we can attach the possessive particle to make in practice an adjective, but regardless, by adding ni, we make the adverbial form, so truly, really, we could say by truly, strictly speaking. Then we have Genki. Another Chinese compound, but this one accent on the first syllable. This one means literally, its meaning is lively, full of spirit, even closer. Consider that the key, unaccented on its own, means spirit, mind, heart, and so on. The Gen at the start technically would be origin, original spirit. Becomes then this Genki, full of spirit, so lively, energetic, and so on. We have the subject particle ga. And then E. By the way, notice that in this case technically it would be as a noun. So maybe better by extension, Genki means then healthy. And so in good health, here as in its energy or health can also be by better energy, maybe actually is good. After that we have E again. So as for this Pokemon, it's truly, I'd say simply full of energy. There it says simply actually, okay, take it just to show it on screen. Not that the explanation is long. Red to wa, so that as for red, okido kara from ok, fushigedane o, the object particle, and then morata from morau, to receive. Verb, Godan verb, so to make the ta form, like in this case we have to follow the rules, it becomes double consonant ta. Again, originally mora pu was, because verbs in straight up u, not as in u specifically, were actually in pu, fu, but actually pu in classical Japanese. We change the u into i, morapi ta, then the i fell morap ta, difficult to pronounce, so double consonant ta again. So it's, simply past form of the verb in plain speech. With that, simply, as for red, he implied received Fushigedane Bulbasaur from Oak. Then we have Fushigedane ni nickname o tsukemasu ka? We could choose to Fushigedane, with the particle ni again as in to. Nickname, simply from English clearly. Notice only the apart from the usual additional u for the consonants that can stay on their own. Notice in particular the doubling of the consonant for the nikku careful about that. Yeah, nickname. The accent is just like in English. Then we have the object particle O, and then we have tsukemasu from tsukeru, to apply, to attach, and so on. The transitive form of tsuku. Ru verb is an verb, so we can drop the ru to make the conjugative form. In this case, to attach mas, the auxiliary verb used to make the polite form of verbs. Then the interrogative particle, actually for the interrogative in this case, so will, so present as in, you can also use it as a simple future. Will you attach technically, as in give a nickname to Bulbasaur? Will say no. Then Green says, Ja ore wa kore. Yeah. First and foremost, we have Ja, which is a contraction of Dewa. Usually longer, should be Ja. Can be also short, like in this case. Yeah. It's a contraction of Dewa, the form of the copula. When we use the wa after the form of a verb, in our case the copula, it means if that's the case, we could say technically, as for that being the case, if it's like that. So yeah, if it is like that, so yeah, then it becomes a conjunction. Well then, or simply then, so, yeah. And then again, ore wa, as for me, kore, this, the demonstrative pronoun. Yeah, Green, of course, got from Professor Oak, Charmander. Then he says, Ore no eranda Pokémon no hou ga tsuyosou da ze. First and foremost, ore, then the possessive particle no, so actually, my. Actually, no, in this case, sorry, the no is not the possessive particle, because yeah, after that we have eranda, and then a noun, so yeah, it's a relative clause, and so yeah, it's actually simply the replacement, the no that replaces ga in relative clauses, and makes more sense. So yeah, ore, the subject, eranda from erabu, again to choose, to select. Verb and verb, it's in bu, so it becomes, we have to follow the rules, it becomes nda. Again, because we changed the u into i originally, erabi ta in this case, then the effect erab da. But yeah, again, voiced consonants were prenasalized, so yeah, eramb ta. Then we only kept the nasal. And that influenced the ta, which became voiced, and so actually also prenasalized. Era nda, and yeah, so we now write it simply with the n, the moral nasal n. But yeah, chosen, or better in this case, that I chose the Pokemon that I chose, relative clause, refer to Pokemon. Then we have the possessive particle, in this case for real, no. And then we have ho, way, direction, technically then also side, area, in a particular direction, accented, so on the ho because the U is the long vowel. The accent can stay only on it. And yeah, it's actually used in comparison, so yeah, the side of the Pokemon that the side, the figurative side of the Pokemon that I've chosen. And then it says Tsuyoso from Tsuyoi, strong. E adjective. So if we drop the E, we can then attach so. And yeah, this is the so, the na adjective, the auxiliary na adjective, which means appearing that, seeming that, having the appearance of, looking like. An adjective, so yeah, at the end of a sentence we have to then use the copula da, in our case. And yeah, again there's a. So yeah, Green here says the Pokemon that I've chosen looks stronger. And yeah, the comparative usually isn't marked in Japanese, but you can see, tell that it's a comparative technically because we have these expressions like something no hoga. So yeah, the side, this direction way side, better in this case, is stronger. Or in other cases, we could have said, for example, compared to the Pokemon that you have chosen, compared to Red's Pokemon, to keep it simple, Red no Pokemon Yori, and then we would actually could still use the no Hoga, but yeah, also with the Yori, the particle, which means then in that case. Yeah. Okay, let's quickly speak to Oak. Yeah. Oak says, Soja. Yeah, again, it is that way. Again, you soda would be. We have Ja again because Oak is old. Yeah, so that is so. And so yeah, then by extension, that is right. Yeah, then he says, oops, sorry, actually, it stops there. Or better, it moves to a completely different one, so yeah, we'll keep it here for now. He says, Yasei no Pokemon ga dete kitemo. First and foremost, we have again Yasei, we have seen it in this very series, wild. A Chinese compound, unaccented, luckily, like most of those. Noun takes the possessive particle no to make in practice an adjective, so wild, Pokemon, subject particle ga. And then we have dete, from deru, to come, go out, get out also, to exit, so study this kanji. Ru verb is a verb, so we can drop the ru and to make the continuative form, and then simply attach the te to make the form. The form required because then we had kite from kuru, completely irregular as already mentioned, to come. So yeah, its continuative form is ki, and yeah, from that then we can attach te to that. verb in te plus kuru means to do the action in that direction, so yeah, comes out in this case. Yeah, after we make also that in the form, because then we have the inclusive particle more technically. Yeah, when we make the we add that to the form of a verb, we get the meaning even though, or we could say also no matter if. But yeah, if you start from even though, you can see, or even if you could say technically, and then by extension no matter if, you can see why we use the mo for this structure, because yeah, also even is this meaning on its own. But yeah, no matter if while Pokemon come out, then it says そいつを戦わせていけば隣町へ行ける yeah, first and foremost we have そいつ so yeah, that fellow guy actually can be used technically as all words in Japanese indistinctly without distinction for the singular or the plural. We can further specify the plural with pluralizing suffixes, but it's not required. We can do so when we want it to be unambiguously plural. Yeah. Well, actually, in this case, it would be better technically with words like koitsu. And I think actually because this soitsu, I think actually refers to that guy, that fellow, as in your Pokemon. But we'll see in a second, because I think so due to the verb. Because yeah, we have then the object particle o. Then we have the verb tatakawasete. So yeah, from tatakau to fight. U verb, golden verb. So we can change the u into a. It changes into wa because again it was originally pu. And then those that became the P became U, with the U simply fell then, so U. But yeah, for the other vowels, wa, we, u, we, wo. Yeah, nowadays only the wa remains, so yeah, that's why. But yeah, we change the U into a, and then add se, ru, to make the causative form of the verb. To make someone do the action of the verb. Causative form of the verb. So ru verb is a verb, and yeah, so we can simply drop the ru to make the conjugative form, and then attach the te to make the te form. But yeah, so let's make fight that fellow. So yeah, I think it's referred to our starter actually. But yeah, after that we have the te form, because we then use the verb iku. Again, to go. I think actually in this case it's seen in we've seen it's the fundamental meaning to the action of the verb in that direction. Go, come, and do the action of the verb in that direction. Another usage of the te form with verbs of the verbs kuru and iku is in a figurative temporal meaning. Cioè, going forward, we could say, in this case, cioè, from this point onward. Yeah, I think it might be in that sense here. But yeah, then we have iku, verb colon verb, so we can change the u to e to add, to make the realis technically form. Nowadays simply called conditional form because yeah, it's used usually simply for the conditional. Yeah, because then we add here ba, and so yeah. Another form of the conditional or temporal if when. In Japanese, this is the closest one to the first conditional, even though we have seen not always. Yeah, if, I'd say if in this case, you will translate fully again after. Let's continue for now here. He says then, tonari, well, technically tonari machi. I wonder if I find it as is even in its... okay, found it also in the dictionary technically. Yeah, technically a compound noun from tonari. We've seen it in this very series, unaccented on its own, next to, adjoining, adjacent, by extension then house, next door, neighboring house, and so on. And after that we have machi, accented on the last syllable on its own, town. So yeah, tonari machi, the accent of the compound is on the ri, on the final syllable of the first word part of the compound. So yeah, one of the typical spots for those, for the accent in such compounds. So yeah, nothing weird. Unfortunately, not the only spot. So yeah, you still have to remember, but yeah, easier since it's one of the typical ones. Yeah, so literally adjacent town, cioè neighboring town. Particle e, so to, towards, and then we have ikeru from iku. We change the u into e, and then add ru to make the potential form of the verb, so can go. Yeah, so if you make that guy, the fellow, as in your Pokemon most likely, fight, I'd say in the sense going forward, so from now on, even though, no matter if Pokemon, as we have seen while Pokemon come out, the previous part, you will be able to go, we use the future, in this case because of the part above, as mentioned, going forward, from now on. Yeah, we use the present in its usage as a simple future. You will be able to go to the adjacent neighboring town. Yeah, with that, yeah, we don't have more time. We definitely won't start what happens immediately next, so, since there's a lot to do. So yeah, we'll actually save here. Yeah. Yes. We eventually check also these, but it doesn't matter now. Yeah, we have saved our game. Yeah, you can see it. I'll save it just once more. Just to be sure, even though it should have saved. Yeah, we can close the game. And yes, so today we first had to finish what Ok had to say. We did so. We checked out the three starters finally. And so checked out, repeated their names, even though we have seen them all in Pokemon Snap. We've chosen our starter, so yeah, finally we got our Bulbasaur, Fushigidane. And after that, we simply checked out what Oak and Green had to say also after. We tried to leave before choosing the Pokemon and see also that reaction. Pretty funny. And yes, so next time we should be on Monday as usual. We continue from there. We'll actually try to leave the lab, and this time we'll be able to do so, but not exactly. There will be something before that, and yeah, we definitely didn't have the time for it now. So yeah, we'll start with that. Usually, since this is a Friday stream, I'd mentioned that there would be also a game mostly just for fun on Sunday, but yeah, clearly there won't be one because it's Easter. So by the way, happy Easter, everyone. Yeah, so yeah, while on Monday we continue our Let's Learn Japanese with series Pokémon FireRed currently, as usual. So yeah, see you next time.